Welcome.
Hi, welcome to Let's Talk Autism with Shannon and Nancy. Here we are.
And I'm Shannon.
And I'm Nancy.
How about that? That worked out. And we got a big hour here. Lots of stuff to be talking about. We're going to have a guest here and a little bit. Christina Bant Jenkins is going to be talking with us about a project. This is Autism. So we're going to be talking about that. We've got a bunch of in the news, and I promised them that we were going to show some stuff with Brian McKnight, Grammy Award-winning Brian McKnight, and the wonderful things that he says about Denim and Diamonds. And
right, and just, you know, what an advocate he is for our kids. And we honored him recently at Denim and Diamonds. So we're going to be showing some videos from that event that those of you that weren't able to attend to see what Brianna Eady, who is an up-and-coming star, remarkably talented young woman, what she has to say about autism, and what Brian has to say, and Brian interacting with my son, Wyatt, and the wonderful Carter Thiero, who is also on the spectrum, and just kind of sharing some of the things, because, you know, not everybody can come to a big gala, and just want to let people know what other activists are out there doing.
Absolutely. And I do want to give two quick programming notes, because I know we have a lot of people tune into the start of the show, that we are going to be doing another live segment today at 2. We're actually going to be on Facebook Live at around 12:15, 12:30 with some of the regional managers that are in from all over the country here with CARD. And then at 2 o'clock, we are going to be back live here with Alex Lehman, I'm not sure which pronunciation, but he is the director of the film Asperger's Are Us. I got to screen the film last night, and so he'll be here with me to talk about that. So that's coming up later on today, in case I forget to mention. And the other thing is that the site is open right now for people who are in the Los Angeles area to get their tickets. They're free tickets, but there are a limited number of them for our Sensitive Santa event that we do in conjunction with Autism Care and Treatment Today. We do in conjunction with We Rock the Spectrum, Jim's. My Brother Rocks the Spectrum, Skills, and CARD.
And when is that?
It is on Saturday, November 26th. It's 2 days after Thanksgiving. It is at the Woodland Hills We Rock the Spectrum gym. If you go on Eventbrite, you can search for it there, autism-live Sensitive Santa, and get your tickets. The children, you sign up for an hour period of time, and you come for the whole hour. Your kids get to play in the gym. There are ABA-trained therapists there to keep the peace during that hour. There's a limited number of tickets per hour. You're given a number as you come into the gym. Your child's playing on the gym when it's your turn for your number, so there's no waiting in line. You're playing on stuff. When it's your child's turn, the elves come and get you and bring you into the room with a specially trained sensitive Santa. You get to spend time with Santa, take as many pictures as you want. No one sells anything. It's not a thing where you come and it's $15.99 for a photo. It's not about that. You get to take pictures and take your time doing it, and then your child gets a toy. And then they get to go back and finish playing until the hour is up. So tell your friends, if you're here in the Los Angeles area, that is the Saturday after Thanksgiving. We're doing it early this year. So that's going on. Now, lots of news. And I want to say, you know, it's been a hard week for everyone. Let's just go there. It's been a hard work for
I'm having a lot of struggles. It's around the time of year that my husband went into the hospital last year and never returned.
Yes.
And it's bringing up a lot of triggers for me. And Wyatt.
Of course.
You know, we talk about our kids. I think our kids on a deep cellular level experience trauma and experience emotions, and they aren't able, many of them, of course, to express it in the way we do. And us typical people sometimes bury those emotions. They come out later.
Absolutely. And I think that, and this is not about a political thing, but a lot of people on every side of every argument have talked about having, you know, deep feelings of anxiety in the last week, and a lot of parents have been writing in saying that they've seen a spike in tantrums and things like that, and obviously we have seen that with adults as well.
Right, and my son is going back to things that were familiar to him when he was little. He's very into Thomas the Tank Engine. It's like all he wants to watch, and he's even watching that show Caillou, which grates on my nerves, but in that,
It's
you
one
know,
of those shows.
it's-
You either like it or it makes you nuts.
It's obvious to me why he's watching it, and that
Yeah.
is because it's the perfect family. There's not only a mother, a father, and a little sister. There's grandparents.
right.
He has none of that.
And it also, I would imagine, reminds him of the time when he was watching that, when he had more of that.
Right. He had grandparents. He had a father.
Yes.
You know. Yeah. So
And we're all wanting to retreat to a time when we felt comfortable,
And
we
safe.
pick whatever
yeah,
whatever it
safe.
is that
I
helps
think,
us. Yes.
I think when we feel unsafe, our anxiety levels just go way up, and our kiddos. So important to remember that if you're going through this, I'm going through it. You're not alone.
And I want to say this, that we had said last week that no matter what happens, we want to continue to report the news of how this affects our community. And so please know that we're going to start to cover some news stories, because there's information that we think that you want to hear. We don't want to overwhelm anybody, but we don't want to sit back and say, gloss it over and say nothing is happening. So our first headline is that just the 2 days after the election, that there were 149 reports of people bullied by, according to this headline, emboldened bigots, and the list is growing. I think we have all heard a story in this last week that has either touched us or come very close to touching us personally, with people being exclusive instead of inclusive. And no matter what happens, I think it's incumbent upon all of us to stand up in unity against that kind of behavior,
Yes,
whatever it is.
Now, this is a report that in a single day, there were three cases of bullying. One in a classroom, and these are documented.
Yes.
Students in Minnesota were greeted with, I can't say it, F star, star K, and then N star ends with an S,
Right.
written on their door. And a Michigan middle school had a small group of children chanting, "Build that wall," while their fellow students who were Latino were crying. Another one had students in Pennsylvania marching with Donald Trump signs saying "White Power." And then there was the well-documented drive through Wesley College where some kids were harassing black students. And these are just, and then there was a South Philly neighborhood that had Nazi graffiti smeared in it. So
in my hometown of Saratoga, New York, a very artsy-fartsy kind of town that in the winter is kind of a small town feel, a friend of mine who still lives there posted, she said, "I cannot believe that this is my hometown and this is my neighborhood," that on her walk to work, she saw, and she took a picture of it, that somebody had spray painted a swastika on the parking lot thing. And these kinds of things will contribute to people feeling unsafe. I don't think it's inappropriate for people to feel unsafe when these kinds of behaviors are happening, and the list is endless. And we both have had circumstances of people that we know and love, and we don't want to name names and make them feel more uncomfortable, but people who have had things said to them in the last week that are just inappropriate. I don't know what people are thinking, but I do think it's time, and you used this phrase, and you said it's a phrase that Reed used, and it's the thing that has rung in my head over and over. It's time to circle the wagons. And we need to, if we're feeling anxiety, we need to acknowledge that our kids are, and we send our kids to school, and we need to circle the wagons around our kids. We need to make sure that we are vigilant, and that when we see or hear someone doing something like this, that we immediately, I saw a great video the other day that showed somebody who was on a park bench and somebody came up to them and was saying stuff to them. And they showed the safe way to deal with it, which is to go up and not address the person who is doing the aberrant behavior, to address the person who is on the receiving end of it with love and say, hey, how are you doing today? And show solidarity. And it shows the young woman sitting next to the young woman who's being harassed and saying, I love your scarf, and hey, I'm Shannon, nice to meet you, and completely ignore the idiot stick who's making, because you don't want to get confrontational with these people.
No, you can't get confrontational.
They're in the middle of a tantrum.
Yeah.
They are in the middle of a
cannot get
tantrum, and you cannot go there. But you stand in solidarity with the other person, and you just sit and talk with them, and you focus together, and show that you're not going away, and that's how that is, and that eventually, it's that whole thing about the fire and the oxygen. The fire has to have oxygen to stay, and if you just shut the oxygen out of it and just are having a great conversation with a person, eventually idiot sticks move on.
Yes.
That's the technical term for it. Idiot stick.
Okay, idiot sticks. I do want to say that these incidences of bullying that we mentioned that are documented, there was a story the other night on the O'Reilly Report, his lead story, that there is no evidence, he said, of bullying being up, because he said in terms of criminal charges being filed, and that he was debating this, and the debaters that were saying, you can't be saying that there's not bullying on the rise in America, and he said there is no evidence of increased criminal charges being filed since the election against bullying. So I do want to say he went on record as saying that.
Well, and this is O'Reilly who said this?
Yeah, Bill O'Reilly.
Well, and for all the people that I know that experienced this, not a single one of them called the police.
Right.
Not
so
a single one of them.
We can't really, his point as a news, and he says he's a commentator. He did not say he's a journalist, but he said that with all of this talk about bullying being on the rise, there is not an increase, and he had done heavy research on this, on criminal charges being filed because of bullying. It's not increased.
Well,
so that was his point of view. So
I get it.
His
No,
point of view.
and it's a valid point of view. It just isn't the correct litmus test to determine whether this is happening or not. Right.
Okay.
I saw Megyn Kelly
so
on the Today Show this morning talking with Savannah Guthrie about sexual harassment that happened on Fox News Channel, and was talking about not reporting it.
Right.
And so we could say, sexual harassment isn't happening because women aren't reporting it, and people do say that, and you and I both know that is a steaming pile of you-know-what. All right, moving on.
Okay.
Ask me how I feel. But, okay, so we do need to report about, there are some nominations that we're hearing about from the Trump, President-elect Trump. And one of them that we definitely need to talk about, there's a C to talk about. What we need to talk about is the Bannon nomination.
Yes.
And this is a gentleman, and we want to make you guys aware of this. We want you to make your own decisions.
Yes.
But he was in charge of Breitbart, we're going to read you something that is from Breitbart that is attributed not to him, but he approved it. And I think that's an important distinction to make.
Very
but
important
this
distinction.
is what we are looking at right now. The headline here is, the solution to online harassment is simple. Women should log off. Okay, it gets better. Look, I know it's not an ideal situation. In a perfect universe, we would be able to cooperate and coexist in the same environment, acting respectfully for each other's views and the freedom of the land. But that just isn't the world we live in. Time for some honesty. Women are, and you won't hear this anywhere else, screwing up the internet for men by invading every space we have online and ruining it with attention-seeking and a needy, demanding, touchy-feely form of modern feminism that quickly comes into conflict with men's natural tendency to be boisterous, confrontational, and delightfully autistic. Nancy? Thoughts?
When I read this came up just recently because there was a lot of back and forth about Bannon and his appropriateness in many areas, and whether he should be in a cabinet position, or not a cabinet position, but in the inner circle of the presidency. This was glossed over. I don't think
the
too many
biggest
people-
influencer of our president.
I don't think too many people caught this, that on Breitbart was written that modern feminism comes into conflict with men's natural tendency to be boisterous, confrontational, and delightfully autistic.
This is from July of this year. This is
Delightfully
not old.
autistic. So I would like to say to the person who wrote this on Breitbart that if you think it is at all appropriate to say that men get to be delightfully autistic, I am telling you from an autism mom, you are wrong. It is not okay under any circumstances to use that term and use it in a joking fashion about being delightfully autistic, about men getting to be that way, because it could, and it does, deeply offend us who have children with autism.
I want to continue on with another part of this article. He goes on to say, here's my suggestion to fix the gender wars online. Women should just log off. Given that men built the internet along with the rest of modern civilization,
Okay.
I think it's only fair that they get to keep it. And given what a miserable time women are having on the web, surely they would welcome an abrupt exit. They could go back to bridge tournaments or wellness workshops or swapping apple crumble recipes or whatever it is women do in their spare time. I'm not making this up. It goes on to say, I, Donald Trump, and the rest of the alpha males will continue to dominate the internet without feminist whining. It will be fun, like a big fraternity with jokes and memes and no more worrying about whether an off-color but harmless remark will suddenly torpedo your career.
Like delightfully autistic. Well, I just want autism parents to be aware that Bannon had this on his
approved
Breitbart
this.
News. He approved
this.
He approved that. So everybody just needs to be aware of that. Now, there's a lot of controversy in our community, not just about these bullying things, over whether Donald Trump is going to take a stand against vaccinations.
Yeah.
That is pitting, quite frankly, from what I see online, and in my on my Facebook pages and Twitter and all of that, pitting a lot of the autism community against each other. What do you think, Shannon?
I agree, and I think it's important to bring it down to an objective. I will say that I've done a lot of research on this, and I have seen that there's more to it than I initially had thought. And I will tell you why, is because a lot of the discussion has happened on Twitter, and I have not followed Twitter as closely as a lot of other people do. But what we did come across is because people are posting things saying Trump has promised to end mandatory vaccinations, that he's going to save everybody and save our kids, and that he's promised a whole lot of things. We don't have any of that in print. We have that he has made acknowledgments in Twitter about the fact that he himself has seen people in his building that have had healthy children, had them vaccinated, and the children were unhealthy and diagnosed with autism shortly later. And that I respect that he's not backing away from that. I respect that wholeheartedly.
I do too.
That he has not been intimidated into not saying that.
Right.
But what he has not said is more than that. That he has a plan for that he wants to do research, that he's going to shut anything down or even look at anything. But what we did find is an audio clip of him answering the question point blank about vaccines, and we'd like to share at least part of that with you. This is him talking with, I believe it's Joe Hannity. And so Samantha, would you play that?
Last question, because you've been very generous. I appreciate the time.
I enjoy being with you.
And it goes to a tweet that you put out. I love the fact you tweet your own stuff. You wrote, massive combined inoculations to small children is the cause for big increase in autism. Spread shots over a long period and watch positive result. Do you stand by that, Donald Trump?
I do. Let me explain it real quickly. I am a total believer in getting the shots and having it done, and I am a total believer, 100%. Nobody a bigger believer. What I don't like seeing is a 20-pound little baby going in and having this one massive inoculation with all of these things combined. I'd like it spread over because, look, our autism rate is at a level that it's never been. Nobody's ever, in the old days, you didn't even hear about autism, and now it's at a level that's so high, especially in boys, but so high that nobody can even believe it. What I'm saying is 100%, I want to see it happen. I want everybody, but it should be spread over smaller doses over a longer period of time. So spread it out over a year. There's no harm in that, and I believe autism will go way down.
So you're saying there's a causal connection.
I would like to see it spread out.
More to this interview, and you can hear that there's more to this interview, but he goes on to reiterate exactly what he said, which is clearly there's something going on, but he says many more times how he 100% wants vaccines, 100% thinks that they're good, but that they need to be spread out. Okay. I think we need to be clear about that instead of spreading conjecture about getting rid of mandatory vaccinations. That's not what he's saying. And just be clear.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that within the autism community, we can't further contribute to the dissension that's going on in America by now pitting autism parents against autism parents because some supported Trump, some supported Mrs. Clinton. We can't say, well, then if you didn't vote for Donald Trump, you don't support families that have children with autism because autism is caused by vaccines. And we can't say that, those that voted for Mrs. Clinton that felt that she had an autism plan to deal with what's happening in the lifespan of those with autism now.
From 3 up through.
From 3 up, that they weren't doing what was in the best interest, that among the autism community, I think we have to be the voice of reason. We have to not engage in this infighting, and we have to see things as they develop, as they are real, and not cause further dissension. Does that
absolutely?
Do you hear me on
but
that?
I also want to deal in facts,
yes,
not in conjecture. I want to deal in facts, and let's all move forward and deal in facts. So that's what we know.
Yes.
And if somebody has something written expressly from President-elect Trump, or has audio tape or a videotape of him saying he will end mandatory vaccinations, we would be very interested because we have looked for and not been able to find that.
And if somebody has positive proof that, as is being also rumored, that the Trumps have come out publicly to say that their 10-year-old son Barron has autism and is vaccine injured, which we have not found proof of and has not been said, please bring it to our attention. We'll be the first to talk about that. We always know that the more public and the more well-known families that come out as having children with autism and being autism parents and are supportive of the autism community, we want to celebrate those people.
If they have made that choice for themselves.
If they've made that choice for
themselves. That's the real sticking point for me, is that, I honestly, if the Trumps have said anything, they have said it in a private place and not in a public place.
Right.
And I really, again, want to urge people, be respectful. Be respectful of whatever their deal is. Okay, we're out of time for this, but moving on, we have a wonderful guest who's going to be with us, Christina Bant Jenkins, and we're excited. She's a photographer and taking wonderful pictures for a project called Is Autism. Thrilled that she's going to be here and join us. I did not realize that I had met her before because I know her son. Okay. So I'm excited that she's going to be here and joining us. So stick with us, and then later, Brian McKnight. Be right back.
What would you do if your child was hurting?
If your family's future was uncertain.
If help seemed out of reach.
Have you been given no hope?
Taka means I am not alone in this.
This is the reality for families affected by autism. And today, the number of children with autism is growing more rapidly than ever. Taka unites these families and shows that they do not have to fight this battle alone.
Our oldest son, Jared, who has autism, when we first took him to the doctor to get the diagnosis, you know, it's so sad because they offer you nothing. There's no help, there's no hope.
One of the things that you learn with autism is being very grateful for even the small milestones. You know, when you first get the diagnosis, you go through all the range of emotions. You know, this can't be happening. Why is this happening? You have to get to a point where it's the emotion that has to be leading is, what can I do? The first thing that struck me was walking to a room and seeing, oh my gosh, we're not alone. And there is this very strong community that's already set. And something I still today associate with Taka the most is hope. To me, that's what Taka means. Taka means hope.
It's like you've got all these dreams and goals of what your son's going to do, and you get your diagnosis and you're sent home. And that's it. There's no plan of action. There's no, here's autism, here's what we're going to do to make your life better and help him. It's strictly go home and try to process it and go on the internet. It was devastating, and you just, you know, you go through this 3 week of depression and then you snap out of it. You have to. And then you start making phone calls and trying to figure out what is autism and what are we going to do. And then we found Taka, and it was life-changing.
Autism, there really is no definitive answer. It is trying to find the resources that are out there that can assist you to help your child so that, you know, you just don't feel so helpless at those particular moments.
There was direction and there was hope and there was a little ray of sunshine that he's going to be okay and we're going to be okay. I always look back and think we would never be where we are. Carson wouldn't be where he is at without Taka.
So 13 years ago, my son was diagnosed with autism, and that put our whole family into a tailspin. There were so many different ideas and things that were not proven. Nobody knew what guidance to give us. We had no direction. And then we found Taka. They helped give us a path to follow, help give our son a better future and make him healthy and put him back onto the road of recovery. When your son's first diagnosed, the first thing you hope for is, gosh, I just want my son to speak. I just want to be able to communicate with him in some way. Then you want a little more. You want him to go to a regular school. Then you want him to potentially have a real life and go to college. So you're always hoping for the future of your child. My son is a happy, healthy, vibrant young boy that's going to turn 15 really soon, and we couldn't be more pleased. And without Taka, I don't think we'd be in the place that we are today. We believe the future is not defined for many affected by autism. There is hope and direction for these kids and their families. Taka is dedicated to providing community, support, education, and hope to families affected by autism.
At Taka?
At Taka.
At Taka,
We are families with autism helping.
Helping.
Helping families.
helping families with autism.
Hi, my name is Matt. I am 19 years old and I was diagnosed with autism when I was 6 years old. Autism is one of the fastest growing developmental disabilities in the United States, but I am living proof that with the right treatment, hope is possible. My future is not limited. Today, I am attending Fullerton Community College and I run for the cross-country team for fun with my friends. It makes me feel proud when I think about my progress. Chances are you know someone affected by autism. Show them they are not alone and help others get on the road to recovery. Contribute to Talk About Curing Autism today.
down dog next. So with down dog, there are several different ways that you can do it, and I want to show you first and then help you with yours so that we can work on what feels good for you, okay? All right, because there's no right way to do it. It's more about what your body likes, right? So for me, what I'm going to do is start off with my hands at the top of my mat, my headlights. My fingers are aiming towards the top of my mat. And then I'm going to tuck my toes, and then my head is also going to drop, and I'm going to look between my toes. Okay? And my body should be, or hopefully, like an A shape.
Or V.
Or V, yes.
Upside down V.
Yep. And so if your quads are tight or your hamstrings are tight, you might need to bend your knees a little bit.
Then it's a U.
Or if your shoulders are a little strained or a little tight, remember to push in through your feet. But also sometimes what feels really good is going down on your forearms like this. You can actually start out this way instead, it's a little easier. So your forearms rest on the floor. You still tuck your toes, and then you're still looking between your toes. But rather than being on your hands then, your weight's along your hands and your forearms. Okay? All right. So, now it's your turn. Okay? So, yep. You're gonna do on your hands? Okay, yep. So your fingers are facing the front of the mat. Are you doing forearms? Forearms? Okay, there we go. Wow, you're very bendy. Very nice. And your gaze is right here between your toes. Excellent. Very nice, Jem. Wow. Awesome. Feet are a nice distance apart. How does that feel?
Okay.
Awesome. You want to come down? Excellent. Good.
Welcome back to Autism Live. We're sitting here, 3 autism moms, having a great time and having a great laugh. We're so thrilled because Christina Bant Jenkins is here with us, specifically to talk about a couple of different things, but in particular about a project called This Is Autism.
Yes, thank you both so much for having me. I'm thrilled to be here.
We're thrilled to have you here.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about yourself and how this project got started.
Okay, I'm a photographer. I've had a few careers.
Okay.
I've been in front of the camera as a model. I went to architecture school, then I was in advertising. I've sort of been on all sides of the camera. And my son is 11. He was born 11 years ago, and the economy was tanking. And within the first year and a half, 2 years, I was going to doctors, trying to figure out what was going on and getting the autism diagnosis. And I could take pictures. I needed to be home for my son, and I needed a job. I needed to make money, and I could take good pictures. And then automatically you just sort of end up in this autism community, and it really developed a niche there, which I love. I love photographing kids, but there's something special about kids on the spectrum. You know, as a parent, probably both you as moms, you're a little bit hesitant to call a photographer. You're a little bit hesitant to do the typical things that other parents do. You think, oh my gosh, is this going to work? Is he even going to look at the camera? Is he going to cooperate today?
Right. Are we going to get that smile? Is the photographer going to be able to catch those rare moments?
Because they'll settle for that.
That
horrible
fake
smile,
right?
And the school pictures.
I know.
But also then the judgment, like as moms, we're thinking, oh my goodness, what is this photographer going to think? Or we just are so nervous. And I thought, I want to make other moms comfortable and other parents comfortable and know I get it. It doesn't matter. And I've figured out how to catch that split second where they're engaged and looking in my lens, and I really choose to sort of enter their world and see what they're doing and thinking and feeling, and you get those moments of magic. And so after several of these shoots where parents would be like, oh my goodness, you got that smile that I can't tell anybody really exists, or that glimpse, that twinkle in his eye, I found myself showing photographs to parents and saying, this is autism. I don't want to hear anymore at this moment about a diet or a therapy or what doctor did you try or who's your BII at school. this smiling face, this interest in Thomas the train or his big brother showing him something. This is autism. And we have to remember they're just kids.
Yeah,
after everything.
capturing them in the moment, who
Yes.
they are
Yes.
right now.
Yes.
Not who we want them to be, not who we, are hoping they can be, but who they are.
And it's therapeutic for us too. For a moment we forget about what they're not doing, or about what we wish they were doing, or what we worry they won't be doing at 18. In this moment, they are a beautiful little soul that's excited about whatever it is he's showing me. So that's what I want people to see. That's what I want parents to see and friends to see. And I think if more people see that, it's less daunting and less intimidating.
Absolutely. Now, Samantha's showing some pictures on the screen there. Can we full screen those, Samantha, and take a look? So talk to us a little bit about some of the pictures that she's showing.
Well, I have to first have a moment of honesty. The gorgeous boy in the middle is mine.
That's Charlie.
That's Charlie.
Okay.
Such a cutie.
It's one of my earlier pictures of him because he's 11 now, but it was just this moment. He was dancing in the backyard and his grandmother was dancing with him, and he thought that was just hilarious. And it's one of those things,
you captured the moment, and that's priceless, right?
Exactly. The two on the right are twins, and we wanted to do a photo shoot, and the mom was nervous, and what do we do? And they wanted to dress up, so we have, I don't even know what he is, some superhero, and she's a fairy ballerina with a flag, and
I love this because it reminds us all, we all think that getting eye contact in the photo is the be-all, end-all to capture the moment, and it's just not.
No, and thank goodness those days of velvet backdrops and posing like this in front of a camera are really gone.
Yeah, and even the smile isn't necessarily something we need, right?
I love those candid moments where you just capture that moment of awe, or they're thinking something intensely, or there's a few I photographed that were brother and sister, or two brothers, and one is looking at his brother with awe. I love those moments, and I think parents love those moments too, because that's what they see, and they can't describe it to doctors, they can't describe it to other people, but those are the moments that warm our hearts as parents.
And so where can people go to find more information about this, Christina?
Okay, go to my website. It's my name, ChristinaBantJenkins.com. I believe there'll be a link somewhere, but it's Christina with a K.
There we go.
Great. And it's right up on the screen there.
Yeah, and you'll see either the menu at the top of the page for This Is Autism, or you just follow that link. And you can contact me directly through the website or read more about it there.
So you can take a look at pictures, but you could also have you take pictures of the family.
Yeah,
if somebody
I would love
wants to get those pictures.
Because that's what you're doing professionally now, right?
I am. This is my main focus. I've worked, with so many celebrities.
You
and
photographed
ad
so many
campaigns.
celebrities.
Yeah. But this is my joy. This is my passion and my love, and I'm not turning anybody away. I really want to make this a huge project. It's going to be a book next year.
Okay.
Yeah, so
the book will be called This Is Autism?
This Is Autism, Life Through the Other Lens.
Okay.
And we'll hopefully, as you say, you want to help people to change their view of how they look at autism.
Yeah, I want people to forget the controversies, forget the debates. We have experts and doctors to debate those things. As parents, we have to love them more than anybody and believe their abilities more than anybody, and that's what I want to get across in the book.
Now, you're also a runner. We have that in common.
Yes.
I'm really more of a former runner. I'm more into hiking these days because I ruined my knees with too many marathons.
Oh, gosh.
But you're not there yet,
No.
And hopefully never will be.
Goodness.
But you're starting, tell us about the nonprofit organization Ought to Be Fit.
Okay, I'm really, really excited about this. Sports is my other passion. Running, hiking, I've done Taekwondo, everything. And then with Charlie, you automatically think, oh, well, my child's going to love what I love. But he's, he's had OT and PT for years. He's been developmentally delayed physically, but now he's actually getting out there and loving sports. And then through that, I've learned that sports have so many benefits that we cannot even talk about in 1 hour. The proprioceptive input, the vestibular input, the messages to the central nervous system. Plus, our kids need to get out there and have the social interaction they may not get to in schools. It's so competitive in sports now. But we want them out there with opportunities to make friends and build teams. So what I wanted to do was combine the sports world and professional athletes with the autism world. Get the two together, get kids out there playing sports, get parents out there playing sports, because we have enough excuses not to go for a run or go for a hike, or we're busy. But this is a family fun activity, and at the same time provide some mentorship, provide some inspiration, even if it's just throwing a ball around or seeing this amazing athlete's medals. How fun is that? And then on Monday they go back to school and they met, you know, this guy from the LA Rams. He's the coolest kid in school on Monday.
Right, exactly. So, it raises their...
Yeah.
I've seen this firsthand. My son got to take the field with the Dodgers.
Yeah.
And, he hadn't been interested in baseball,
Yeah.
and it changed his perspective. Getting to run out into center field and get a ball from the center fielder.
And
cool.
on
really
Sunday,
cool.
my son finished up the winter session of the Special Olympics swim program at Agora High, and we're going to be having them on the program in the future. But every kid, of course, got a medal at the end of it, and we got in the car, and Wyatt's like, "Where's my medal?"
Yeah.
And
It's
I'm like, let me find it. And he's like, "Mom, where's my medal? Where's my medal?" Yeah, it makes them feel they see other kids getting these awards and medals for participating in sports, and they need it too.
And our kids are so involved in therapies, which are so beneficial, and we can't do without them. But it's so beneficial to also get out of the therapy room, out of that bubble, and get into some real life, fresh air, fresh activity, and run around.
Yeah.
So if we can get them out there, we don't know what talents they may have that we have not thought of.
That's right.
There are amazing athletes that are actually marathoners with autism.
Yes, covered on the show.
Yeah, the perseverance and the routine-based discipline.
Yeah.
So
it's amazing.
Yeah,
well, Christina, we thank you for everything that you are doing.
Thank
we
you
want to
so
give your
much.
website again. It's your
Thank
name,
you,
ChristinaBantJenkins.com.
Yes,
Okay.
and ought-to-be-fit.org.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
That's
you've
our
already
website.
got
Yeah,
it.
we're launching officially. Yep.
Okay.
AUT,
Yep.
the number 2,
letter B, fit.
fit.com.
Ought-to-be-fit.org.
Love it. Very
Because
clever.
everybody ought to be fit.
That's right. Thank you
for
so much.
sharing your story
Thank
with
you
us
so
and
much. It was a
Charlie's.
pleasure to meet you.
And give our love to Charlie.
I will.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to take a short break, and then we're going to come back to show a video of Brian McKnight.
With Wyatt, my son, and Carter Thiero,
Which is lovely.
and they're boxing.
All
they're
right.
boxing.
I cannot wait to see it. So right after these messages.
What is autism? What is autism?
What is autism?
What is autism?
What is autism?
What is autism?
I've been asking myself that for a very, very long time.
Let me think about that one.
Trying to just
Jeez. Let me think. Oh man, that's a rough one. Yes.
Autism.
Autism is a neurological disorder that affects many of our kids in different ways.
It's a learning disability that affects the cognitive functions of the brain.
A lot of people have the misconception that it's a disability, and it's really not.
I look at it as like a special gift.
When one person thinks differently from another.
It's an opportunity for everyone to learn to understand someone that's a little different than them.
Autism is the ability to educate.
They're given so much talent in different areas.
To me, autism means a chance to be with and be around people you really care about. Autism is beautiful.
It's a way of seeing the world differently.
It's always unique, totally intelligent, and sometimes mysterious.
Happiness that comes out of my son's hard work.
It's a movement.
Unpredictable.
That's right.
Awesome.
Love. The field I want to work in.
Laughter, fun, joy. Autism is beautiful to me.
I want you to remember these 3 words. There is hope.
Are those your eyes? Is that your smile? I've been looking at you forever, yet I never saw you before. Are these your hands?
As a celebrity, whatever that means, you want to do what you can to give back. The way I've always looked at it, if I'm available, I'm going to be there. And when you get there and you see what folks are doing and the lives that they're touching, how can you not want to continue to be a part of it?
And for the first time, I am looking in your eyes.
What can we all do to make a difference? Not only with trying to find a cure, but to help the children and the families that may not have the resources for these kids.
When you're looking back at me, now I understand what...
None of us are doing enough, but I think that we're doing as much as we possibly can. Because we all live in society, and the more we can all do to help society, the more it helps all of us.
And for the first time, I am looking in your eyes. And for the first time, I'm seeing who you are. I can't believe how much I see when you're looking back at me. Now I understand what love is. Love is for the first time.
A lot of adults don't really believe kids. They'll think, kids are kids, what are they talking about? But when a child stands up for what they believe in, it's so strong and powerful. I first got involved with autism advocacy 4 years ago when my friend was diagnosed. When I found out about my friend's diagnosis, I didn't really understand what it meant. But it didn't matter to me or change our friendship. I didn't look at her any differently. We still had so much fun together. Now I know that she experiences life a little differently than me, and that's okay. Knowing what she goes through has helped me to understand and be more caring towards other people in similar situations. I got involved with ACT Today because I wanted to do whatever I could to help. They provide options like behavioral therapy, medical care, social skills programs, assistance to military families, and much more. Being there for my friend was my #1 priority. I've been volunteering and spreading the word about the cause via my social media platform because raising awareness is a crucial first step. There needs to be more kids and teens involved to make sure that our voices are heard just as loudly as the adults. You may be small like me, but your acts of kindness are not.
What an amazing young woman Brianna Eady is, and what a fabulous video of Brian McKnight, and how fabulous was Wyatt in it, and of course
Carter Thiero is the son, the oldest son of Vena Thiero.
He's been on the show.
Very high functioning autism, and has big brother, proud big brother to Bakari Thiero, who is much more severely affected.
Yes.
And Vena, who has been on our show many times.
Amazing.
I wanted to thank Vena for coming out. And that day, Bakari was supposed to be part of the shoot, but Bakari was having a tantrum and could not get out of the car.
Yeah.
And Vena was devastated because she did not get to meet Brian.
Because talk about this is autism, that's autism.
That's autism. And Brian said to me, it was such an education for him to really experience the spectrum, because he got to see a kid like Carter, he got to see a kid like Wyatt, and then he got to see what happens with kids like Bakari.
Yeah.
So he said, I wish everybody out there could understand this, how challenging it is for families.
And how unique and individual it is.
Each kid is.